essentially going to be Libra training day. I'm going to start off today with some handstand push-ups again because I need to start drilling that movement a lot more. I haven't been practicing it enough, so I'm going to have a little setup somewhere where I could probably, if I can find like a yoga block or something to put in between my dumbbells, I'm going to use that to keep my height strict so I can not necessarily focus as much on the range of motion, but focus more on the execution. Also just stretching out my lower body to start things up a little bit. Just the basics. Keep myself fluid down there. Thinking about doing some lower body today too, but I've already wasted my time today, so I'm going to try to keep today as focused as possible. As focused as I can in an environment like this. I was thinking about doing a park session today, but I needed the sun's just too hot right now. It's too humid outside. So that is essentially going to be the mission for today. Don't really have a lot of other thoughts. Yeah, because I was when I'm succeeding or failing in handstand push-ups. Before I get into the handstand stuff, I'm going to show you guys some wrist stretches and exercises that I recently learned that are actually really good. Okay, make sure you're not like me and start learning handstands without warming up your wrists. I made that mistake and paid for it, which is why you always see me on dumbbells. All right, but here, I know it looks relatively painful, having your fingertips pointing towards your knees, and then you just kind of lean back on your in the direction of your fingertips and stretch out your wrist that way. You want to be able to essentially flex your wrist past 90 degrees. That's the goal. All right. I have a hard time doing that with the right wrist going forward. So here, this is where my right wrist is weak in terms of flexion. That's the area that I need to improve if I want to succeed at being able to practice handstands or do handstand training on my palms again. And then there's this guy. I don't do this one as often, but it's a really good stretch. But I don't do it as often because I can't even put that kind of pressure on my right wrist. It's too painful, but I try to do it just a little bit, but it's hard to challenge flexion in that position. And then the classic wrist rotations, right? Super simple, but very effective. Just getting blood flow into the joints, right? I don't know if I said it, but today's essentially going to be Libra training. Can't remember if I said that or not. I think I just kind of rambled about handstand push-ups and then turned off the camera. Oh yeah, and then you do it in the opposite direction, right? All right. Typically I try to do a few sets of those now. And then there's also some wrist exercises, right? To strengthen. Those are just for mobility purposes, but in terms of strengthening, right? There's a few exercises that I've learned that I'm trying to work regularly into my rotation. So one is the wrist push-up, Ideally, you'd be off your knees, but I can't do them off my knees. But you start with your palms flat on the ground, and then you push your fingertips. You push it, pressing your fingertips until your wrists come off the ground. And you can feel that, your wrists engaging every time you do that. The further you are away from your knees, if you're doing them on your knees, the harder it's gonna be. And obviously, you know, the ideal is that you're off your knees like you're doing a push-up, right? There's also these hammer presses, essentially, where you put your wrist on the ground and then you rotate forward, right? You get a stretch here, lean, then you come back, press again. Lean. And ideally, again, doing these, you'll be off of your knees. My right wrist isn't strong enough for me to be able to do that, so I'll probably make a video dedicated to these at some point. Those I'm not gonna mess with too much today because I don't have the time for them. There's a few others, but yeah, make sure you're really up on your wrist mobility if you're trying to get into handstand training. It actually improves your handstand. I wish I had understood that earlier, but you know, live and learn. I made these mistakes so you don't have to. All right, so I may have to actually abort this idea because my shoulders are more sore and tired from the workout I had yesterday than I thought they would be. But I wanna, what's up, man? But I wanna try at least, I wanna give it at least one attempt. Here's my little setup. I haven't really tried something like this before. Usually when I practice my handstand push-ups, I always use a full range of motion. But I think that's part of the reason why I haven't been practicing them as much as I should is because I'm always focused on doing a full range of motion and not drilling the movement pattern as much as I used to. So limiting myself to a stricter range of motion, or shorter one, it should allow me to get more reps in and hopefully improve my handstand push-up over time. All right, so let's see how this goes. Don't like using dumbbells on this turf because it makes the dumbbells a little sketchy, but I'll be all right. So that's actually a bit lower than I expected it to be. So I'm gonna take one of these platforms. I should have known by just looking at it, because it's lower than the platform. Another reason why doing handstand push-ups in your hands is actually easier than doing them on parallettes, because the range of motion is generally shorter. All right. Let's see how this goes.
it kind of makes me concerned about my kip ups because I don't know what's gonna happen if I fall forward with that platform there, but I'll be okay. If I die, it'll be hilarious. If it goes viral, I won't live to know about it. All right, that might be a little too far away. Let's try a little closer. Give myself a minute there. All right, let's try again. Well, there it is. All right, still too high. All right. Let's try this again. I'm a little higher this time. My kip ups are a little iffy right now because usually I keep a straight leg when I kip up into my handstands, but I got a recommendation from somebody that I should focus more on bent leg straight up, the lunging leg. Which is something I used to do in the past, but then I stopped doing it because it felt like it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. And also, it did feel a little unstable trying to get up on something higher, like higher parallettes. But somebody, based on that recommendation, I think I'm going to go back to that. Especially in a situation like this where if going over, I'm crashing into this thing, I can focus more on the vertical component with the kip up instead of the horizontal component and potentially over kicking. All right. So, part of the issue with trying this is that I'm holding that position and then trying to do an isometric and then press, and that's not working. So I'm gonna try this again without the spot. Spot, handstand, push up. Just gonna try this without going too low. So the problem with that is that I went way too straight. I need to go at an angle. Kip into this regularly. All right. I'm too tired for that. No bueno. All right. So I'm gonna make these quick because this gym is hella busy. Too busy for the middle of a weekday afternoon. Probably only gonna rest like 90 seconds between sets. Usually I try to rest longer because this is more of a strength training type thing, but It's not the ideal circumstance for it. So let's see what I can get done. I tried a few test levers just to see how the fold is coming along. Wasn't too great, if I'm being honest with you. All right, try to get about 4 sets of those real quick. Using 2 bands this time because I want to hold it a little bit longer this time. I want to get closer to 30 seconds. Ouch. It was like maybe 18 seconds or so. Hard to count in your head. See how this goes. This thing can be a pain in the ass sometimes. Just make it slower again. Are you kidding me? Damn. Whew. All right, one more set and I'm out of here. All right. So this time I'm bringing out the big guns. I was thinking about taking a day off, and the way this workout is going, I'm thinking maybe I should have. But I was feeling really good. And I felt like getting some movement in. Maybe I should have just stuck the jumping rope, I don't know. But I'm gonna make lemons out of lemonade. All right. I'm doing one more. Screw it. Not sure why, but that set felt really easy. All right, let me move on. All right, so I'm gonna keep my wide pull-ups to body weight today, and then I'm gonna do some weighted pull-ups, but I'm just gonna stick to one plate. All right, 2 more sets like that, then I'm gonna add some weight. All right, try one more. All right, let's add some weight. All right. All right. That was actually a little better than I expected, so I'm actually gonna try 2 plates. Because if I can get more than 5 reps right now of 2 plates, that would make me happy.
Don't squat those. Let's see how this goes.
Typically, I'd have like a dumbbell there or something to help me get to the bars more efficiently, but it's way too busy in here for that, so. All right, let's lighten that. So I've been short about this idea, and that's if you're trying to lift something heavy, especially if it's a compound movement, try lifting heavier than your 80% of your 1 rep max, and then try going down to your working set weight, right? So say if your 1 rep max is 2 plates on a pull-up, right?
I'm trying to get to 100.
And you're trying to get between 5 and 8 reps of 1 plate for your working sets, try doing 2 plates first. And then go down to the 1 plate. That 1 plate is gonna feel super easy. It's gonna feel like you're, gonna pull yourself up out of the gym. It's a good little psychological trick. Maybe physiological, I don't know. I don't have any evidence to support that. But it doesn't just work on pull-ups, it works on bench, squat, any compound lift. Give it a shot. All right, here I go, one plate. All right, one more set. All right.
Remember they say together when we was in Portland.
exercise like pull down or pull-ups, if you feel like your biceps or angular forearms are getting tired before your back muscles, then you have to work them. You should feel them being taxed, but they shouldn't be the limiting factor, right? So you might have to actually start, working your bicep muscles more so that they're less of a hindrance when you're working your back. That can also be an issue. Let me not be lazy or change and get up and actually turn this thing off.
Up the weight about 20 pounds. Gonna use a little bit wider of a grip this time. My back is already sore. All right. One more set. Typically, I don't do other back exercises when I do back lever training. Or at least I have tried to take that approach the past several months because my back lever training has stalled significantly. So usually if I'm doing back lever, I'm just doing back lever and not much else, or I'll do a completely different related muscle group. But I'm trying something different because even with the focus on just back lever sessions, my lever training, my lever is only improved marginally. And I'm okay with that. If I never get a full back lever, I'll be totally fine with that. Just training the back lever is great in and of itself as a form of exercise. But you know, obviously, that's the goal one day, to be able to hold a full back lever. So that requires some degree of problem solving and not just doing the same thing over and over and over again ad nauseum. So yeah, just trying to keep an open mind about things. All right, do one more back exercise to get myself out of here. In my last video featuring back, I wanted to work more hyperextensions into my workouts. So that's what this is. I couldn't do it weighted last time, so today I'm doing it weighted. When I first started working out, I used to go ham on this exercise. And I credit that to why I have a very strong back. If it weren't for this exercise, who knows? I might have been dealing with some, back injuries at some point. But yeah, this exercise, if you're not doing it, I highly recommend it. It's really good for your lower back, your erector spinae, and I think it's one of the missing ingredients in terms of my front lever. I realized very recently how little my lower back is actually doing in my glutes when I'm doing levers, and that's part of the reason why they've stalled, is because I'm still working on trying to engage those muscles with everything else that you need to engage with that exercise. All right. This thing might be a little too high. I gotta adjust it accordingly. I adjusted the, I think this is called a Roman chair, this instrument. I didn't have the right leverage last time. I'll go lighter for the last set and do more reps. But yeah, specifically when I first started out, my deadlift form was not the best. Well, maybe this isn't as relevant today, because back in the day there used to be a lot of talk about having a curved spine when you're doing a deadlift and how bad that supposedly was. And a lot of the times, it wasn't too bad, but when I would go 405 and up, a lot of the times it would get kind of bad. And, you know, just having a strong lower back is essential, you know, for protecting yourself when you're doing an exercise like a deadlift, you know? So an exercise like this, to really focus on building those muscles around your lower back, in my opinion, is essential. And I stopped doing it for several years just because as you grow and you start to prioritize other things, you tend to lose sight of some of the basics, the fundamentals, you know? And it's just really important that you don't. It's a little things that add up to big successes. I consider exercising like taking a lot of time. Not only did I like do this exercise every single time I did back, I progressed. You know, I used to do, you know, 2 plates sometimes, you know, and I just did it because I saw other people doing it that were in better shape than me. But I came to learn that it's actually a really, really good, very important exercise. So if you're not doing these, you should be doing these. All right, let me do this last set and get myself out of here. Oh, and as to whether or not the weight should be behind your head or out in front, that depends on the chair. Some of these things tend to vary in their construction. So some of them sit higher off the ground to where you can have the plate out in front of you and you're not gonna hit the ground with the plate. I prefer it that way. Having it on the top of your, on the back of your neck like that is super awkward, especially if you're using more weight. Like if I was trying to go higher than one plate, I wouldn't have it behind my neck like that. All right. Always get a little lightheaded. Well, not always, but sometimes I get a little lightheaded coming off of those things. All right, so that's the back workout today. Kind of relatively fast, not a whole lot of sets. Wasn't the best workout, but that's okay, you know? As I talk about a lot on this channel, not every workout is going to be the best. You're not always going to be making progress. Progress is not linear. And I think that's the thing that keeps a lot of people from getting in shape, is that if they feel like if they have a bad workout, or if they feel like they're going to have a bad workout, they don't feel their best, they don't go to the gym, you know? It's just about showing up. It's not always about, you know, hitting a PR, you know? And you just show up and problem solve. If you have a bad day, you analyze why you had a bad day, and then you just get back on the grind. That's all, just the consistency, you know? I'm not gonna ramble too much because I gotta go, but the word of the day today is gonna be Foldorol, F-O-L-D-E-R-O-L. Mere nonsense, foolish talk, or ideas. So this is the word of the day on dictionary.com today, which is why I'm using this one. I never heard of that word. I used to actually read the dictionary. This has to be a neologism, meaning a new word or newer word, because I don't even see what the etymology for something like this would be. But yeah, you know, go impress your friends. Foldorol. you're speaking Foldorol. All right. Be consistent in the gym. Don't be Foldorolish. All right. Until next time. Peace.